Hello, everybody, and welcome to Educate's webinar on how we take care of the whole employee, financial wellness done right in 2021. Want to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope to share with you the lessons that we've learned regarding financial wellness and how we see improvement of that going forward. As a housekeeping tip, we will be taking questions at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to use the questions box within the GoToWebinar panel, and you can ask any questions that you would like, and we will address those at the end. So with that, let's get started. Really quickly, my name is Chris Whitlow. I'm the founder and CEO of Educate, and professionally, I've spent about 20 years in the financial services space doing retirement plan consulting for mid-market retirement plans. And 12 of those years were specifically in the retirement plan consulting space. And personally, I'm a husband for the last 18 years, a father of 2 wonderful children, and I have constant financial stress. So if you have financial stress, you are not alone. You've come to the right place. Certainly, financial stress creeps up into my life every so often, and that's what we're going to talk about today, how we can help people tackle that. So when you think about financial wellness, I think the first place people start is what is your definition of financial wellness? And it starts with us with what we believe. We believe financial wellness is achieved when you have the confidence to make the proper financial decisions regardless of what life throws at you. And if you notice in that statement, it doesn't mention anything about how much money you have. It doesn't mention anything about becoming retirement ready or having all your bills paid off. What it really means is that financial stress comes from a place of not knowing what to do. And if we can equip individuals with the confidence to know how to tackle any financial challenge that comes their way, or at least know where they can go find the information so they feel confident enough to tackle it with someone or something, then they have achieved financial wellness. And to the right, you've seen we spent a lot of years doing this, trying to figure this stuff out. And so to kind of dive into that a little bit deeper, Educate was founded in 2013. Really on the basis that we wanted to democratize financial literacy around the 401k plan. We wanted to bring that to the cloud and help distribute it in a new way. And we were one of the first companies to incorporate gamification to really capture the attention of the user in doing this. And every single year since then, we have spent trying to help participants, users, employees. We're trying to help them really convert their apathy into action. We want them to take this concept of not caring or not knowing or not really proactively doing something with their finances, and we want them to be able to tackle the challenges so they can make healthy financial decisions. And so whether it's the mobile apps that we built, or the incorporation of bank at work solutions, or it's the content we've created, or the addition of adding financial expertise, everything we've done is to really tackle that challenge, really helping people convert their apathy into action. And I think that's what we believe is the solution, right, in terms of having a successful financial wellness program. But something that we've learned over the last 8 or so years is that really the programs that are not working, the ones where you really aren't turning that apathy into action, are passive financial wellness programs. Educate kind of started as a passive financial wellness program. And what that is that's where you put the content out into the internet, or you put it out there and making it available for folks, and it's up to them to go and engage with that content. The second thing we learned was that financial wellness programs mostly don't work because it requires hard work. In order to not just be a simple passive program where you're just putting it out there expecting people to go, it requires a lot of hard work for you to really pull people into the program in order for them to really understand what they should be doing and when they should be doing it. And so if you're not doing the hard work, you're absolutely going to have a failed program. And then the last thing we learned is that most of the time programs, they fail before they even get started, simply because there isn't enough information, or there's a lack of attention to detail. What that means is that in order to put in that hard work, in order to find the success, you have to know the intricacies that you need of the program to find the success. So whether it's the demographics of the folks that you're trying to get the attention of, whether it's the right products and solutions and benefits that are necessary in order for them to take action, whether it's the timing of when to do those things. Is it around open enrollment? Is it around a holiday or during a vacation period? Is it around connecting with those individuals on a level that they will connect with? And so if you don't have that detail, if you're not paying attention to those details, then ultimately you're going to, these financial wellness programs are going to fail. And so Educate, what we've done is after we've kind of reflected on this, we said, well, what can we do to find success? What if we were in partnership with our clients and we created a tailored employee engagement strategy? What if we really sat down and put in that hard work and we looked at that detail in order to find the success? Could we do it? Would there be a difference? And the answer was a resounding absolutely. The results look much, much different when you compare Educate's passive financial wellness program and most of those programs that exist today to what we do today for our clients. Increase in adoption, increase in employee engagement, increase in usage of financial benefits across the board, more financial confidence. You see it day in and day out when you are actively really going after engaging with the employees. And so at the end of the day, it really takes 4 pillars to find success. And these 4 pillars are the whole financial wellness package. That's an obvious one. If you got to have some type of financial wellness package of content, assessments, technology in order to find success. But that can't be it. There are 3 others, right? The tailored employee engagement strategy, some type of strategy to get the attention of the employees. Human and conversational engagement. You have to connect the employees and the folks that we're working with, HR, management at the organizations, with the human to help solve problems, to help solve those real problems. And then approach it with conversational engagement. How do we make it about the individual so that it's something that resonates with them? And then lastly, the commitment to improving people's lives. You have to be absolutely committed, because if you don't have a value system that really puts the ideas of helping individuals and with their finances first, then ultimately you're not going to do it. So if the only reason why you're working with an organization and let's say they're offering a program for free because it's connected to the benefits that you're getting, or they're offering it for free because it's something that they're doing on the side of what they already do for you. The reality is it's very difficult to offer something like this for free and be committed to improving people's lives. Really, that freeness is there to help get something else. And so there has to be some commitment to really improving people's lives in order to be able to put in the hard work and get the engagement that you want. And so I think that's evident too in what we have found. So how does it work? Well, it starts with that whole financial wellness package. We talked about that. And maybe you've seen this and maybe you haven't, but at Educate, it really begins with our award-winning software. We have a core financial wellness software that has a plethora of content and assessments, an automated engagement engine to really draw the user in, contest and gamification throughout the platform, integrations with benefits like your retirement plan provider, analytics and reporting so you can get all the smart people in the room and analyze what's going right and what's going wrong and fix it. And then branding, how do you make it your own? So all of that is part of this whole package. And then on top of that, it's having companion applications, right? It's now bringing it from the web into mobile, so iOS and Android, with content, with the contest, all that stuff on the go, so the employees and the users can really get the financial wellness they need when they need it. So that's a big component of it. And then being able to integrate in the benefits that you're already using, the things that we find that are successful for the employees and the action items that they can take advantage of so they can start building better financial habits. Those can be integrated in. So we want to bring those things that are probably sitting on a HR intranet or someplace in a brochure, and we want to make that part of the financial wellness experience and bring it into the software. So while they're learning and engaging and exploring their financial wellness, they're actually able to do that around the financial benefits that the organization is offering today. And then lastly, bringing in consumer-based benefits into the experience. And what that is that's bank at work solutions. So oftentimes employees are just struggling with where to go to solve some of these problems. And that could be things like refinancing their student loans or consolidating a lot of high interest rate debt that they may have, or it may be getting access to sidecar savings or emergency savings accounts that have high interest rates that pay them, or perhaps it's getting access to credit in some way. Maybe they're trying to build credit or they're trying to solve a particular problem. So those types of things can be built into a program as well in order to find success. And then quarterly reporting and reviewing. This is so key because if you're not having the data, the intellect in order to analyze what's going right and what's going wrong, it's going to be very difficult to make changes along the way on the fly so that you can promote and produce the best program possible. So reviewing these, having access to it, and getting the right data and analytics is all part of that whole financial wellness strategy. But that's not it, right? That's just the beginning. You have to have these other key components. And so you could have a great passive financial wellness program. And like I said, like we have found that ultimately those things are not going to work as well as you'd like to. But if you add these other components, I think you're really going to have a great financial wellness program. And so that's where we start to look at tailored employment and employee engagement strategy. And this is kind of where the hard work starts, right? Because this is that process. This is the 90 days going through and doing discovery and review. What is working? What's not working? Who are we working for? Implementing and coming up with strategies that have worked or that may work in the future, and implementing those strategies and tactics, doing the heavy lifting of building out the campaigns, the content, the connectivity in order to put those pieces together, launching that, right? Getting that out in front of the individuals that we're trying to connect with, and then monitoring how they engage and how we are engaging with them, and analyzing that, and then doing it over and over and over again. And so that is not a part-time job. That is not, something that can be done for free. This is something that takes effort and work in order to really get the process right. But the payoff is great, because what it starts to look like pre and post launch is something like this: the discovery and strategy. It's strategizing about who are the employees, what are the issues that are at hand, what has worked, what hasn't worked, how do we now build out a strategy that is going to be effective, not for all employees in the world, but for these employees, for these particular users. That's what you have to do. You have to really put in the effort to build the right strategy, right? And then deploying it and watching and monitoring how the strategy is being implemented and strategically, right? So how people are like funneling through, and I kind of think of it like a river, channel of different rivers that are fork, and they can kind of go through different paths, but it's important to kind of see where they're ending up and watching the flow. And that just doesn't start with pre and post launch, right? There's more tactics that kind of go along with that. That's things like quarterly engagement or surveys, or even down at the bottom right here, we see playlists, personalized playlists delivered to individuals based on what we're seeing within the application, within their usage, in order to deliver to them the right content that's going to be effective. And so this is a ongoing effort that happens. And then we talked about incorporating your benefits, right? But how about customizing the content within the application that resonates with the benefits? So having a special place where, for a traditional organization, this would be empty, but you've now filled this up with particular customized content that resonates based on the thing that you are the KPI that you are trying to accomplish across your organization. And then tying that into the gamification platform or a campaign, which creates sense of urgency, right? So the urgency then creates the opportunity to bring people into and foster a connection with this content that then leads them back to the thing that we want them to do. So that might be learning about a new HSA program, that might be learning about a new 401k incentive that your organization's rolling out, that might be some other type of incentive that's happening. But this is a key aspect of it, because you want to be able to tailor it so that there is some type of connectivity to the user between Educate in this digital space and what's happening in the physical realm that they're dealing with on a day-to-day. And so the key piece to that, as we learn, it's not just the execution of that strategy, but it's delivering human and conversational engagement. So this is the empathetic part of the process, because without it, it's just a very systematic approach, right? And so we have to connect with individuals using human and conversational engagement, because it's really what delivers the emotional and empathetic side that causes action. And so this is kind of what that would look like when you're exploring it from the inside of our application. Things like connecting with expert financial content that's been purposed for that individual. So in this case, we're looking at retirement readiness, but delivering step-by-step financial instruction, right? That's kind of connected to what that user was saying that they were experiencing challenges with, and allowing them to kind of change into that based on if they wanted to maybe learn about purchasing a home, or if they wanted to learn about creating a budget. So they can ebb and flow into different particular content that's for them pretty easily. So that's important. Bringing into the conversation the benefits that we discussed that are part of the work environment where they're at. So this is where they can go and connect in with those benefits, but then also having user engagement through email within the application. So being able to communicate and drive strategy through email that they're receiving within the application as well. And then actually connecting with the human, right? So the ability to have connectivity through 24/7 chat support. And oftentimes the chat support can be things like, I need to reset my password, or how do I access a particular piece of content? But oftentimes it's things like, what's the difference between a traditional and Roth 401k option? How do target date funds work? I'm thinking of purchasing a home. Where do I start? So a lot of times folks need the connectivity from the human side in order to kind of gain the confidence of the thing that they need to do next. And if you're working with an outside individual, somebody who doesn't work at our organization, but wants to have connectivity and communication with that individual as well, we can connect that person in through our financial Q&A support. And this may be for things like scheduling an appointment with a benefits consultant or a financial advisor. This may be asking a particular question regarding something within the benefit modules for, let's say, the HSA. So you can create that connectivity with the application as well to include some third-party human that wants to connect in with the user. And then the contest and gamification. These are always important, like I said, not just to create urgency, but to create some type of kind of human connection with the other folks that are participating within Educate, with the organization and the prize that's being offering. It's a community with a time frame, right? That creates an kind of an opportunity for them to get engaged. And so we find that is particularly effective. And then we do things like pulse surveys. So having a quarterly or monthly pulse survey that will ask, hey, how's your confidence with your financial situation? How's that changed? Are you more confident, as confident, or less confident? And then when they click on one of these, understanding what are the factors that contributed to that. Is it your job, your healthcare, your benefits, your savings, your spending? Is it relationships? It's something outside. Help us understand what is driving the change in confidence. And then using both the emotional and the physical. What that means is where somebody emotionally sits with their money and their decisions, and then what gaps physically do they need to fill. We're able then to create nudges, right? So you might have heard of nudge theory, but nudges that will help the user create the right momentum and the right timing in terms of taking the next step. And so in this case, it's taking control of your finances with a healthy budget. But it's a great way to kind of inject that human conversational engagement into a very specific moment that helps the user move to the next thing that they need to be doing. And it doesn't just stop or start and stop within the application. I mean, this is something that carries on through the communication that we've talked about. So, you look at this as a series of emails, for instance, on an onboarding campaign, and a lot of the emails are going to be evergreen emails. These are, standard template-based emails that are out there. But in order to really add that conversational engagement, you got to sprinkle in along the way customize emails for the user that's tying in things that are happening at the organization or happening within their specific cohort that help them understand that this is specifically for me. Some other organization is not receiving this. Some user at the business next to me is not getting this. This has been tailored or created for me, and it's speaking to me in a way that's dynamic and useful. And so we do that with the onboarding, and then to continue the engagement, having that same type of strategy through 4 engagement campaigns. So we recommend and will run 4 specific campaigns, usually quarterly throughout the year, that are around various topics. For the user, could be a custom topic if an organization wanted to have something custom. And incorporated in that is 2 opportunities to have an employee-based contest. And if you're not supplying the prizes, I mean, we supply prizes, for instance, gift cards, $50, $25, and $10 gift cards. But it's amazing to see what users will do when engaging for a $25 gift card, the opportunity to participate in that community to be able to win. And when you're doing these contest campaigns, that it doesn't change, right? It's still incorporating in it that human and conversational engagement, the things we've learned from the conversations, and bringing them back to the user in a way that resonates with them throughout the contest strip campaigns. And then the quarterly campaigns as well. So this is an example of what a quarterly campaign would look like, introducing a bank at work solution for your student loan maintenance. And you can see on the left, there is day 1 to 14 in terms of email drips that are happening, but each of those are specifically guided to a particular action that resonates for that user. So for instance, the first one may be going to the microsite that kind of helps them, whether or not they've already enrolled in Educate or not, helps them kind of give an idea of what they should be doing for student loan maintenance, then driving them to specific content, then driving them to a specific action, like understanding how much interest you might be paying around your student loans, like a calculator, and then even maybe taking it a step further and offering them the opportunity to do a refinancing. And you can see on the right-hand side, just some of the different types of campaigns that we talked about, savings account, consolidation of debt, finding a credit card, etc. And if you were to kind of zoom out, right, and you say, okay, I'm flying up above the clouds, what does this look like? Well, everything we talked about really looks like this very much ongoing effort on a quarter by quarter basis, where you're launching, you're doing monthly client check-ins, you're engaging and you're monitoring those efforts, and then you're reviewing and adjusting. And if you work with a benefits consultant or a financial advisor that manages your retirement plan that would be interested in this information, we include those folks as well in terms of delivering the analytics and coming up with the strategies on how we can best modify the financial wellness program to continue to get the results that we want, to meet the KPIs that we have set in the beginning. And this is an ongoing, effort. So that's what it's showing in the middle. I mean, this is something that you see on an ongoing time. And there's a lot of work that goes into this. I mean, to think that this just gets done very simply or automatically would really take away from the fact that it's a very dynamic and tailored approach, right? And so in order to be committed to doing that, it really boils down to having that commitment from the people who are working on it. And I'd like to think that here at Educate, we are very committed in terms of the things that we build and the how happy we get when we're able to help users kind of make smart financial decisions each and every day. And what we've seen is things like this, right? Where you have a user, for instance, Jessica, who is in her early 30s, and she's an account manager, and she's kind of your typical person who is struggling with some financial choices. Got some credit card debt, lives pretty much paycheck to paycheck, has got $35,000 in student loan debt, and she's financially stressed at work. We like to say that you don't leave your financial problems in the parking lot. You bring them into the office with you. And that's true in this case. People go to work simply to solve their financial stress. That's why they're there. We work to deal with our financial wellness. And so in this case, it's very difficult to kind of decompartmentalize those, or I should say, compartmentalize those because it's often decompartmentalized. And so what Jessica's journey looks like is, if you kind of split this up in a quarterly way, is very much how we've been explaining this journey with you. Starts Educate, is introduced to us through a tailored onboarding campaign, takes an assessment, and we learn a little bit about what she's interested in. But at the same time, she's able to explore new financial benefits that her organization is offering. And through the information that we've learned, there's a great opportunity to kind of nudge her towards the budgeting, right? So kind of what we saw earlier. And at the same time, she is enrolled in a healthy emergency funds campaign, because having emergency funds is one of the key components to budgeting, is very important. And she begins to organize and prioritize her finances. Um, Through our application, though, she selects that she is going to pick paying down her student loan debt as a financial focus. That's her biggest priority. But after about 3 months, through our kind of nudging and introductions, she is introduced to the 50-30-20 budget and creates that budget and identifies that when our company kind of rolls out this campaign, that she has access to a 401k plan with a match and with various vesting requirements. And at the same time, she's then nudged to tackle student loan maintenance, because one of the things that we notice is like, you need to be maintaining your student loans on the regular. And as she's kind of gone through her budget, she finds some excess funds that she can contribute to start saving and earn some of that match with the 401k plan. But she also takes the action step through the nudging that she should be refinancing her student loans. And so she does refinance her student loans, and she saves about $10,000 in interest over the course of her loans, which equals about $200 a month in payments. And at this time, her company has kind of rolled out a new campaign that talks about the HSA that they're rolling out and the importance of having an HSA and what benefits it can provide. And through that $200 in savings, Jessica is now able to save money additionally in her HSA. Now, this is Jessica's journey. Jim or Jacob's journey might be slightly different, but the principle is going to be the same, where an individual is brought in kind of through technology, but kind of through human and conversational engagement and tailored things that we're doing with the organization. She is nudged and directed and is using our tools to take actions in order to create a more healthier financial habits and choices. And so ultimately, we see her much more financially successful than she was prior. And so let's recap. What makes us successful, or what makes this program successful? Well, it was taking what we've built over the last 8 years, and that's the whole financial wellness package. And I think there's a lot of great competitors out there that do that. But that's not enough. We recognize, and our clients recognize, you have to have a lot more. You have to tailor the strategy specifically to the employees. And to do so, it cannot just be, well, I've checked some boxes. It has to really be human and conversational engagement. It has to have a human approach, whether the human is working with the individual employees to answer questions and responding to learn about them, or it's working with the HR managers and understanding about the organization and the needs of the employees. But it's then converting that into conversational engagement, so that when you do tailored engagement strategy, the user feels as though you're speaking directly to them. There's a resonance that's happening within the content or the way you're speaking that they can't help but to pay attention to it. They won't ignore it. And to do that, it requires a commitment to really wanting to improve the lives of the employees. And I think if you have those things, you're going to have the financial KPI success that you're looking for. And like I said earlier, in our case, it's 130% increase in program adoption, 200% increase in employee engagement, 30% increase in financial benefits usage, and countless numbers of people who are more financially confident, right? We're seeing more financial confidence. We're seeing more healthier financial actions taken. And if you're thinking, well, is this worth it? John Hancock, recently did a study, and they showed that when you look at all of your employees, now this isn't just the people who are financially stressed, this is the average employee at your organization. When you look at financial stress across the board, on average, it's costing $2,169 a year per employee. That is 7+ hours of missed work. That's 47 hours of lost productivity. And that is happening across your organization. So do the math. You got 100 employees times 2,169. That's like $216,000. That's a lot of money. And so what if you could reduce that cost by 10%? 15%, 20%. What if you could take the steps necessary in order to help those employees make the right actions and make the right decisions? You're going to have a great financial wellness program. And if you're thinking, well, how do I even start thinking about paying for something like this? What's it cost? Well, there's ways of paying for programs like this, whether it's a RISA budget or health and wellness services or learning and continued budgets. They definitely exist. If you're interested with us in terms of getting a quote, I would say feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at hello@edukate.com, and we'd be happy to provide a tailored quote for your organization. But with that, I'd be happy to take some questions. All right, first question we have is, are nudges really important for employee engagement? I think nudges really elevate the idea behind the human and conversational engagement, because going back to what we were talking about, it's where the emotional availability and the physical gap take place. That there's something the employee needs to be doing, and there is an opportunity that we see through our emotional assessments that we do that says that this is a great opportunity to nudge this employee towards doing something. That helps take action. In the real world, that would take place when you have lunch with your friends, or you sit down with an advisor, or you talk to your parents, and a suggestion is made through a conversation. In today's day and age, in order to scale this, you have to use technology to do it. And that's where the nudges become very important. So absolutely, I think nudges are important, and I think it's one of the things that helps the user take the next step. And it takes time. Like, there's confirmation bias in it, right? They have to already be thinking these things, and it's confirmed by the nudge that you're providing. All right, next question. What if my organization doesn't have the time to help decide what engagement campaigns are needed? How can your service handle everything? So I would say that we work with many different types of organizations. We work with small organizations that have 10 employees or less. We work with large organizations that have 5,000 employees or more. And each of them have different needs, and their employees are slightly different. But the one thing that we've learned is through time is that there are some similarities in terms of content or campaigns that need to be run. And so we have a number of templated campaigns that we start from, and then we'll use the data within the platform in order to tailor those campaigns to your organization. So if you need to run a campaign, Edukate will run those for you. We do those for you. But if there's a custom campaign that you want us to focus on, while we'll rely on you to help provide some of that custom content, we will do the implementation for that. So definitely we will handle the heavy lifting in terms of getting the campaigns out and identifying what's the next step, and getting that ran. So I think we'll be fine there. All right, I think that's the last question, unless there's any others. With that, I'll say that if you're looking for a custom quote, you're interested in how this would work with your organization, please reach out to us, hello@edukate.com. You can reach out to us through that email, and we'd be happy to answer any questions and explore if Educate's the right fit for you. Thank you very much for taking time on your Thursday to work with us and listen to our webinar, and we hope to talk to you soon. Have a great day.